Welcome to the lovely IHP community and 5D collective of mystics, spiritual, and mindfully living loving paid podcast subscribers and free. This is a sample of our lovely 5-minute spotlight episode. And in fact, love ethic and working the virtue muscle. Those are two words that I got from the episode that I spotlighted in our 3-minute exercise. And mindset is contemplative. So you don't need to be sitting down anywhere. You think and you feel, and that's because we get to be appreciative of what? Of God's wonders. And why? Because it starts with our neuroception. And so the body in connection. I'm safe to be Maria. That's why I have a growth mindset, which is why the inner growth mindset is for the individuals who integrate it to become more of the emotionally resilient and enlightened. So enlightenment is emotional mastery and saying no to mediocrity as a lifestyle. Using the IHP, IG mindset exercises adds to what you're already doing. The benefit is that I'm a bonus, but I'm a bonus because I know all about body and connection and how to spot and make fun of the ones who are not, as we will do on our reading. That is for all. Free readings will continue to be for our themes, and then again the practical exercises, and that's with stories and tips and ideas. And the spotlighting is because there's a lot of beautiful good podcasts. So this one is on Big Think, how to be a more loving person in 3 steps. So the first step is, do you have a securely attached, non-traumatized body? Because otherwise you want to go to the Biology of Trauma podcast with Dr. Amy and learn about neuroception. Neuroception explained how your nervous system decides what's safe and why it matters for healing. I'm attachment trauma educated, so I already know that. But to give you the gist of it, as Amy explains, neuroception is what determines our response to everything in any moment of our life. It is not based on reality, it is based on one's perception. Thank you, Dr. Amy. So she says it's not willpower or motivation. In fact, well-being at IHP, we don't want a medal of honor for doing what is self-improvement. I call it self-growth, self-everything, your whole self. That you own the sense of self, which is why when this Aristotle quote, when you really love a friend, you experience that person as a second self. Yes, that's how unconditional love with flaws and imperfections works. But when you have emotionally immature people, like my facade friend, they will actually not hear you at all. And then they will talk over you. And adaptive child part people, as Terry Real, another good podcast you want to go listen to, tells you, he calls it a losing strategy. To me, it's not a losing strategy because I know what to do with Cusco's. Nothing, because Jesus taught me how to forgive. So again, appreciating God's wonders. Every one of my brothers and sisters is an angel. And if they're not an angel that is loving, they're an angel that is fearful. And I don't need to do anything about emotionally immature people. They're not choosing consciously. No, they're leading with their 0-8-year-old. They could use Terrio or Patrick Tiahan to reparent the inner child, get out of the maladaptive patterns of behavior, and actually own their body's security system and move into their prefrontal and the ventral vagal states. So with that being said, you have a body in connection, and that's why 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 15 minutes, it's your preference, but you're actively enjoying to be able to do it. And with our new moon, we had some themes, of which betrayal, we'll continue that again. So when someone's out to hang and dry, who is the one who sends a helping hand? Aladdin and Jasmine, okay? But they don't have to be romantic partners, because a safe haven, secure base, is going to be a healthy self-worth, emotionally aware, mature, responsible in their ventral vagal state person. So they don't have, I know better than you. I have a subjective experience with my body and my mind, and then I know how to be. So here it's a functional child adult, okay? So 3 steps to love, be a more loving person. Step 1, know how to harness your sadness when someone makes you sad. Anger, when someone makes you mad. No, they're not the ones, right? But we can allow ourselves to navigate the land of neutrality. So if I'm emotionally aware, accountable, and regulating, and I'm in the presence of one who is not, they're going to be in their protective mode. Which is why, as a nervous system, I'm going to pick up on all of them. And as Dr. Daniel Siegel told me when I asked him, he said, Maria, I think you need to differentiate more. And I didn't use I'm an empath. I'm a spiritual mystic. I pick up on everybody. Oh, he called me woo, pseudoscience. I'm so offended. No, I didn't do any of that, because when you're getting explained how integration of the brain and differentiation works and you like learning how badass is for real, wow. Yes, anyone can be emotionally invincible, because you not having confidence in me doesn't delete me. I actually am not pulverized, because I know God. He's discerning equanimous love. And that's in the chapter that I got to write in a book, The Ways to God. I'm a co-author. It's publishing on June 28th. So with that being said, the exercise, as we moved over a little bit of our time, is to thoughts and feelings. You process it, and then you activate your ventral vagal state. And with the safe haven, secure base, in a healthy way, you talk about it. And it's not you forget about it. No, you actually metabolize sad, mad, afraid, surprised, happy, disgusted. And so emotional resiliency, you're creating depth. I went it. That's why people don't get emotionally invincible. The daily practices support people who are enlightening, because they want to say, yes, I am above average. It's the human makeup. But if you feel like calling yourself an emotionally elite person, yes, we've had episodes on that, because apparently people think that they can go and have a cold shoulder and that we are going to spiral down in hell. They don't know how mindset works when it's an inner growth mindset. We don't need 15 minutes to switch up a destructive mind. We have inner growth, left, right, prefrontal. So again, the body in connection, that's the first step. Otherwise, you don't get to the other 3 steps, because I can tell you about love, ethics, and friendship, but you won't know how to do the one thing that I noticed 11-year-olds didn't know how to do. It's okay to be vulnerable and afraid and sad and mad, and then to say splinters, ruptures. We know how to make up, because that's what friends are. That's what relationships are. That's why Pacha Cusco, but we all want to become Pacha, functional child adults, so that we can be having a good time. Join us at IHP, become a paid subscriber. The link is below, and the 15-minute one will be just put in there. It won't be shared as a sample. You have enough samples. So the spotlight is where we also discuss, again, the very good and different podcast episodes that I find and that are helpful for anyone who wants to live a more loving life. Love, live, laugh, learn, expand, not cast stones. Why? Because all of our brothers and sisters, they can have the kingdom of God in their body. It's called restorative embodiment, self-aware, self-accountable, self-regulating. And people who don't like a crow, they don't like to be their own beloved. And they will think that they follow the true temples because they're using ancient books. And in the meantime, I'll know, wow, that hand is still looking really great on the desert. And I think that they're all needing Patrick Tian and not Boca Raton, but they like to just, give each other rewards and call each other by names and bond like, the flat earthers. They're having a good time. So tune in again for later. We're still going to have a couple of readings and more, since our new moon has plenty of messages. And thanks for stopping by.